Hi, my name is Sahir Dean. I'm the virtual PLC lead for high school 2D art. In today's webinar, we're going to be talking about ways to establish positive classroom culture. Now, this is a big one because, you definitely want to have a good environment in your classroom. And you as a teacher, you as their art educator, art teacher, sets that really from day one. So whether that looks like y'all coming up with, you have your rules maybe that you set forth on day one, and then you come up with classroom rules as they adjust to those. Um, or even if it's just you start off real strict, which is what I tend to do, and I'll kind of loosen up a little bit once they get to know me. Or whatever that looks like, that starts as with you as a teacher, setting the standard for your classroom. So I think the most important thing, or one of the most important things, is to address student needs. So if you see a student coming in that's normally really joyful, really happy, really bubbly, taking the time out to speak to that student just to kind of check in and see how they're doing. Or maybe, after that, it calls for maybe a little bit of a break. So that could look like going to get a little bit of water, going to the bathroom, if they need to go to the counselor, things like that. But the fact that you address, that you notice the student was a little off in their energy or their juxtaposition or whatever it is, that you took the time to speak with that student to check on them. It's really important. And really, this really ties into building rapport with students, which I think is really like one of the biggest and most impactful things you can do as a teacher, just because it allows you to get to know them and allows them to get to know you. So it could be like one thing I did, I was actually out the first week of school because of COVID. And I was able to, when I came back, I went around and sat with each and every student, which was, a lot for that first day back. But it was definitely important because I had missed, some vital time getting to know them and establishing rules and things like that. So, just what middle school did you go to? What kind of art do you like? Do you even like art? Do you play sports? And then just sharing some stuff about me. So I was an athlete in high school. I had two brothers from Indiana, went to Spelman, that kind of thing. So take the time to build some rapport with the student. That also allows you to know when that student might be having an off day. Procedures in place. So definitely one big thing in the art classroom, because there's so much equipment involved in making art, is to label everything. So if you don't have toolboxes or equipment boxes, either for your desk or for certain materials, definitely keep that into consideration in terms of maybe a grant, which are offered through the Godot community. But for one thing I have on every table in my classroom is a community toolbox. So in that toolbox is some markers, some color pencils, some scissors, some tape, some glue, some basic things, some pencils, eraser, and a sharpener. So I have some basic things in there that I know they might need, and that will allow them not to have to keep getting up every, minute or whatever it is to sharpen their pencil, because I can easily redirect them back to their box. If you do have boxes, it is also important to check those boxes maybe once every couple weeks or once a month. If you have like a student or student assistant that can do that job, that way you're mindful of if the pencils are all broken or if they just need to be replaced, or maybe something got mixed up with another bin, so on and so forth. But definitely keep check of, just inventory in those boxes, just to make it easier as you flow through the classroom and through the school year. And so for things like, paint or rulers, or like the yardsticks that might not fit in the box, or even the overflow of tape, we'll definitely want to have all that labeled. to make it easier for students to find different things, that they might need. Not saying they won't still ask, but it will become more of the other students saying, don't you see it's labeled already? Or, doesn't look in the box that says tape, or look in the drawer that says, paint, that kind of thing. So it's less of you answering, and they get a little more embarrassed when their peers answer and say it, kind of call them out like that, as opposed to you, answering their question. Share and let students know that you are also human. I think this is one big thing also, because a lot of times students think that teachers are these superheroes in capes sometimes. Like one time, one of my students told me that we were going to get something out of my car, and she was with me. We actually went to an event with National Honor Society, a Chalktober event, or Chalk Fest event. And I was getting some extra materials out of my car, and she was walking with me. She was like, "Oh no, you actually have a car?" She said, "I thought all teachers lived in the school." And this is me as a high school teacher and a high school student. So I thought that was hilarious. And even she kind of knows me, as a teacher, but she knows a little more of the human side of me. So I think it's important that we as teachers, share different things about ourselves, not getting too personal, but, all my students know that I have 2 children, they know that I'm with the Spelman. There's some basic things they know that they can connect with and come to ask me for different help or advice on. So definitely share some things about yourself, whether it's like sharing your artwork that you create. Maybe you were in a show, or maybe you had, a big celebration event in your family, or that you might want to share with students. But that also lets them know that you are also human. You make mistakes. You don't know everything. We use Google sometimes just like you do, right? So share and let your students know that you are also human. And definitely take some time to celebrate the wins. So whether this is through art shows that you do at your school, whether it's through shouting students out on Instagram or Twitter, or through an email to let all their teachers know that they did something big, taking pictures of different students. Like I used to I started taking pictures of students as they got into college and putting it on our school Instagram account. We had an arts day, so I had some of the art leaders from my classes and from National Art Honor Society actually do different art events at these tables, face painting and marbleizing paper. Free Art Fridays. This was actually connected with this Arts Day. But definitely celebrate all the wins. I think it's really important for students to know, that you're in their corner. You can tell them all day that you believe in them, that you're happy for them, you're proud of them. But I think them also seeing that you are taking the time to, make them feel special and celebrate them is also really important. So thank you so much for tuning into this webinar. Please do stop by the Godot community to ask any questions, to join in the discussion. How do you celebrate your students? What kind of rules do you have in place in your classroom to where it helps your day-to-day just be a little more easy and predictable as a teacher? So thank you for being here. Again, my name is Tahira Dean, and I'll see you in the next one.